Miss Elizabeth, Darcy said, drawing her attention. I understand that you are an enthusiastic reader. What kind of books do you enjoy? She wondered how he knew of her delight in the written word, but merely said, I like a great many books, Mr. Darcy, and what I choose to read very much depends on my mood at the time. At the moment, I'm reading Robinson Crusoe again. That is a truly fascinating book, Darcy replied, a grin lighting up his face. I remember as a child wishing that I would be shipwrecked on a deserted island, with no true understanding about the associated difficulties. Elizabeth regarded her companion with new eyes. She had expected Mr. Darcy to be the sort of intellectual who would disdain a book like Robinson Crusoe. I thought the same thing, she said with a chuckle. Now that I'm older, I have more respect for the challenges of our fictional hero. The experience with the wheat, for example. Indeed, Darcy agreed quickly. It is hard to imagine living somewhere without those crops, which are so vital to us. Have you read the sequel, The Farther Adventures of Robinson Crusoe? Elizabeth asked. I have. It is interesting, but I did not like it nearly as much as the first book. She wrinkled her nose and said, Well, I would still like to read it. For some reason our circulating library does not have a copy. I believe I have one at Darcy House in London. Perhaps I could send for it? Oh, Elizabeth replied in astonishment. I would not wish to put you to the trouble, but thank you. Have you read any of Defoe's other works? I have, Darcy said, just as a soft exclamation drew the attention of both to the head of the table. The butler was leaning over to murmur in his master's ear, and Bingley looked distressed. Thank you, he said, and turned to his assembled guests with an apologetic expression. Mrs. Bennet, I regret to inform you that the bridge on the road to Netherfield was washed out. Elizabeth gasped in surprise and turned her gaze on Jane, who was looking back at her with consternation. Washed out? Elizabeth asked weakly. Do you mean that the entire bridge has been swept away? Bingley turned a questioning look on his butler, who said, No, miss, but one of the supports has cracked badly, and a number of planks have fallen into the rushing waters. It will need repairs before a carriage can cross it again. Elizabeth suppressed a groan. This was supremely frustrating news. You will need to stay tonight, Mr. Bingley said authoritatively, and tomorrow we can see about fixing that bridge. Thank you for your kindness, Mr. Bingley, Jane said in a carefully modulated tone. Why, of course, it is our pleasure, Mr. Bingley returned with a broad smile. Now, I beg you not to worry at all, ladies. I am confident that by tomorrow you will be able to return home, and if not, we are very pleased to have you here, are we not, sisters? Miss Bingley responded in the affirmative, but Elizabeth, whose dislike of the woman was growing, was certain that she was actually dismayed. It was one thing to enjoy the company of some of the ladies of the area when the gentlemen were elsewhere, but to have a trio of Bennets spending time with the very eligible gentleman of Netherfield Hall was not the sort of thing to please an ambitious young lady. Elizabeth was not altogether pleased either, but she was not in the habit of crying over spilled milk. It was still raining, and the bridge was damaged, so they would have to spend the night at the Hall. Thank you very much, she said for all of them, and took another drink of dinner wine.